the master's wife and the young man entered into a fake marriage. She took on the role of a wife and prepared a meal for him, but she quietly stood aside and didn't dare sit at the table. Not understanding the situation, the young man gently guided her to a chair and asked her to sit down. He brought her a bowl and chopsticks so they could eat together. He even kindly added a piece of braised pork to her bowl. It was such a small gesture, but it made the master's wife tear up. "Why are you crying?" he asked. She told him that in the Zhou family, she had never been treated like this before. Her husband, Zhou Zhenglong, was usually very harsh toward her. When meals were served, she was only allowed to stand to the side holding her bowl. Sitting at the table like this was a first for her. Even getting a bite of braised pork had always felt like an impossible dream. The young man quietly made up his mind. Not only would he protect this kind woman, but he would also make the master pay for the wrongs he had done. What others didn't know was that the young man had been reborn. In his previous life, his master tricked him into a fake marriage with the master's wife in order to qualify for housing at the machinery factory. Once the house was secured, the master turned against him and falsely accused him of improper behavior with the woman, causing him to be taken away by authorities. After he was released, he learned that his father couldn't bear the gossip and pressure from others and had passed away. Not long after, the young man himself lost his life after being attacked by his master. But when he opened his eyes again, he realized he had returned to the very day when his master first suggested the fake marriage plan to get the factory housing. His master had complained that the factory only allocated housing to married couples who both worked there. However, the master had already lost his job due to a workplace violation. So he came up with the idea of letting the young man and his wife register a temporary marriage. Once the house was obtained, they would divorce and everything would return to normal. The young man agreed immediately. This time, he planned to take back everything he had lost. Early the next morning, he went with the master's wife to register their marriage. When the master saw them walking out together and looking close, he was furious. He rushed over, trying to pull her back home, but the young man stopped him. Although the master was very unhappy, he had no choice but to accept it for the sake of getting the house. Still, he warned the young man not to get any strange ideas. The young man said he wouldn't, but in his heart, he had already decided he would never let her return to that difficult life again. The next day, he brought her to the factory and openly announced that they had registered their marriage. He even handed out candy to co-workers as a celebration. The master happened to see this scene. Then one of the female workers jokingly encouraged them to share a quick kiss to celebrate. Afraid that others might discover the marriage was fake, the woman reluctantly went along with it. Seeing this, the master could barely hold back his anger. He was about to confront them, but the young man turned the situation around by pointing out that since the woman was now living with him, daily expenses would cost money. It wouldn't be fair for him to pay for everything himself. Seeing that the master was reluctant, the young man loudly said he might as well explain the entire situation to everyone. Afraid the truth about the fake marriage would be exposed, the master quickly pulled him outside and reluctantly handed over 40 yuan and 30 pounds worth of ration coupons. The young man then gave all the money and coupons to the master's wife and promised that he would help her live a better life from now on. Just then, their supervisor, Director Xiao, arrived and took the young man to help with a technical project. When the young man saw the department head from the electrical section, he suddenly remembered that in his previous life, this person had died from gas poisoning. Coincidentally, they had called him there to help design a safety device that could prevent gas poisoning accidents. The young man confidently said he would handle it and promised to create a working prototype as soon as possible. The department head was delighted and promised that if the project succeeded, the young man would be well rewarded. But when the young man returned home after work, he was shocked to see Zhou Zhenglong causing trouble for the woman again.